Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So this video is actually part two to my first video, which was introduction to Unity 6 animation system in 2026 or something like that. So that video is on my YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend watching that video first before you guys dive into this one. Otherwise, you guys might get a little bit lost, right? So anyways, in this video here, I'm just going to pick up where I left off in the last video. So just to reiterate, in the first video, I created all the animations for my Warrior character. Um, I created all the animations. I configured all of the transitions in the animator window, and I also set up the anim state parameter, which is used to trigger our animations. So I'm going to be covering a little bit more of this in depth in this video. Um, so First thing I want to mention is that I forgot to cover the loop time in my first video. So here in the animator window for my Warrior character, I don't want my Warrior attack state to actually loop. So to disable the loop, I'm actually going to double click on Warrior attack, and you'll see here that we get an option called loop time. So the loop time is always checked on by default. So if you have a particular animation that doesn't need to loop, just go into your animator window, double click on a particular animation, and check off loop time, right? So you'll notice if I double click on Warrior Dash, that one is looping. Warrior Run, that one's also looping. So these are all looping, and now my Warrior Attack animation state is not looping because I just turned that one off, all right? So my apologies for overlooking that in my last video, but that's how you just turn a loop on or off on a particular animation. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to go back to my Warrior character. So I'm going to select my character here from the hierarchy. I'm going to go back to my animation window. So one thing I should mention is that I've added a few scripts to my character here. One script in particular is called Agent Animation Attack. So this is a script that I created myself, and it's just a script that I use to um, manage different attack animations from the actual timeline, from the animation timeline. So basically, you'll see here that I have Unity events, and I also have I also have like a bunch of public functions that I have defined within my script that I use directly or in correlation with my animation timeline, right? So let me show you how that works. So under animation here, under the animation tab. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention in my last video is if you open up Unity and you don't see the animation window or the animator window, those can actually be accessed or toggled on or off under the window menu. Right, so at the top here, under from the main navigation, click on window, go to animation, and then you can click on animation and animator to turn these tabs on, right? So sorry I overlooked that as well. But now you know that's how you do it officially, right? So let me go back here to my animation window. Okay, so what I want to do, just so you guys are aware of this, because this is pretty important, I actually I want to call an action or invoke an action on a particular frame on my animation. So what I mean by like invoke an action or invoke a function is that I want to actually call a function from my agent animation script from my animation timeline, right? So the way I can do that is I can actually right click on a particular frame, and you see this context menu that pops up. You get an option here called add animation event. So I'm going to click on that, and then you'll see here there's a little white box that's been added just above this keyframe here, right? So when I click on that, here in the inspector window, I get the option to assign it a function, right? And if I click on this drop-down window here, I can see all the scripts that are assigned to my game object, right? So like I mentioned, I had the agent animation attack script assigned to it. So if I select that one and I go under methods, these are all of the public functions that I've created in my script that I can invoke from the animation timeline, right? So I'm going to call this function called play attack animation. And you'll see here it accepts a parameter, which is a value type integer. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to pass in a value of 4, right? So 4 represents the animation state for my attack animation, right? So just a quick refresher here. If I go to my animator window and I select the transition line from any state to Cywarrior attack, you'll see here that I set the animation state to 4, right? So 4 is what will trigger my attack animation to start playing, okay? So let me go back to the main animation window. One quick thing I want to mention here is that I can actually click and drag this this animation event, and I can actually call it from, you know, frame 10 if I wanted to. But in this case here, I just wanted to call from the end, or wanted to get called when it reaches the end of the animation. And you can actually add as many animation events as you need to, right? So you'll see here I just added 2 more. And then if you right click on them, you can delete them, you can copy animation events, and then you can, it says add animation events. So it looks like you can group them up. You can put like 2 on a particular frame, but that, I don't know, I've never really done that. That might get a little bit confusing, but that's also an option. You can, I guess you can stack them up on top of each other. But I don't know. You might find that useful in some cases, but for me, I've never really had the need to stack multiple animation events on a single frame before. But that's also a possibility. But in this case here, I don't need these ones, so I'm just going to delete them. Okay, so we have that last animation here. We're invoking that play attack animation function, and we're passing in a parameter 4. So actually, let me just, sorry, 1 second. Let me just quickly delete this, just so you can get a clear understanding of what's happening here. So I'm going to hit play. So you'll see here that my in my game window, I have my character here. She's currently just in her idle state, and you'll see that that idle animation is currently looping. So if I actually click on my Cywarrior and I click on my animator window, you'll see here that the animation is just constantly looping, right? Yeah, so it's currently just stuck in this one animation state, and it's just looping over and over. So let's stop that. Let's go back to my animation window. Let's go back here. Let's add that animation event back. And let's call that function again. Let's pass an integer 4. Hit save. Okay, so now what's going to happen is when the game starts, the character is going to be starting in her idle state, and then she's going to transition into the attack state when the idle state completes, right? So let's see what happens. Let's hit play. There we go. And you'll see here in my animator window, let me select my Cywarrior character, animator. You'll see here that the Cywarrior attack animation played, and it stopped because I don't have that set to looping, and currently it doesn't have a way to exit out of the animation. So I'm going to show you guys that next. So let me hit stop. So what I'm going to do, we have the Cywarrior selected here. I'm going to go back to my animation window. And now I'm going to select my Cywarrior attack animation from this from the animation list here. And I'm going to go all the way to the end of the animation. Actually, let me just right click here, add animation event. Okay, so we're going to invoke the same function that we invoked on the first animation, on the idle animation. Play attack animation. Go here. And then I'm going to set this to 0, right? So that's going to transition. Why do I have another animation event here? Delete. Okay, so this is going to transition my attack animation back to my idle animation, right? And this time when I play the video, I'm actually going to keep the animator window open so you can see exactly what's happening here. So let me just expand this, right? So back to my game window. So keep an eye on, you know, the animation that's playing in the inspector, but also, you know, try to keep an eye on the animator window as well so you can see what's happening. In any case, you can just go back and rewind the video to, you know, to see what's happening here. But I'm just going to go ahead here and hit play. Okay. Oh, actually, it's looping back and forth. So, yeah. So you can see exactly what's going on here. So the Cywarrior idle animation is playing. When it reaches the end of the animation, it transitions into the attack animation. And then when the attack animation ends, it transitions back into the idle state. So currently it's just looping between these two animations, right? So yeah, so that's looking good. Okay, so I wanted to cover that topic in this video because I think that's something that's very important to keep in mind when you're working with the animation system. You know, how you can invoke animation events at particular keyframes. And then one more thing I wanted to show you guys was animating items on the timeline. So you can actually animate colliders and other game objects that are assigned to your character through the animation window. So for this example, I'm just going to create a quick game object here. I'm just going to call it Weapon Collider. Weapon Collider 2D. So I know it's a 2D collider. I'm going to assign this a Capsule Collider 2D. I'm going to quickly edit this. I'm going to drag this out. And I'm just going to quickly move it so it's kind of about right here. That's where the attack animation roughly happens. Just to confirm that, let me go back to my attack animation, play it out. Actually, it's not quite lined up correctly, so let me go back here. And let's position this guy right here. Let me set the direction of this capsule collider to horizontal. Do a quick edit. Give me a break. And let's just drag this down a bit so it kind of lines up a little bit better. I really hate that. Okay, so that lines up better there. So let me just quickly show you here how you can animate this collider if you want to animate it. So what I could do is actually make the size smaller to begin with. And I can also move the position so it's over here. Okay, so now I'm going to select my Cywarrior character. I'm going to go back to, okay, so we have the attack animation selected. So I'm going to go here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add property here. And what I need to animate is the weapon collider. Right, so in this case, it's the capsule collider. And I want to animate the size. And I also want to animate its transform, in particular the position. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to the first attack frame here, which is on frame 7. I'm going to hit the record button. And then here, I'm going to increase the size. I just need to increase size X, maybe increase size Y a tad bit, and then go to transform. And I just need to animate the X position and maybe just the Y position a bit. And that's it. So now if I play the animation and I go back, you'll see that it animates. Okay. And then on the next frame, I could just copy and paste these first frames. I can paste them here. So you can see the collider animating back and forth, and then I can select these ones and I can copy and paste them here. So you'll see that collider game object kind of just, goes back and forth now, right, between those two frames. So that's definitely something that you should be aware of. Animating on the timeline, that's perfectly doable. And it's pretty commonly used on games that have complex animations where you need to animate, the position of colliders depending on, attack animations for your characters. So that's pretty much how you would do that. And you can also, if you want, you can go to the first frame. You can actually select the weapon collider. You can disable it altogether. Go to that first attack frame, re-enable it, and then on the next frame, disable it, and then in the next frame, re-enable it. Okay, so that's another option. You don't necessarily need to create animations if you don't have to. So in this case here, I could, where's the weapon collider? So we have that one. I could just delete these guys here. Actually, can I just delete this whole key here? Delete keys, remove properties. Okay. And then my collider, it's currently disabled. I can just leave this guy here. I can set him in the position that I need him to be in, or need the collider to be in. I guess it's probably right there, somewhere around here. Anyways, and then we will turn that off. And then that should remain in that position. And then basically it's just being enabled and disabled on each frame accordingly, right? Okay, So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this video here, just so you guys are aware of, how to invoke methods from the animation timeline, and also that you can animate objects as well. Those are two important concepts to learn and to be aware of. And yeah, so I mean, I think that pretty much covers most of the basics for the animation system. I might end up doing a third video, which maybe covers some more advanced topics, but for the most part, this should be good enough for you guys to get up and running. So yeah, I would encourage you guys to explore the animation system on your own. There's really a lot to learn to it. Um, you know, it could probably take me like 9 or 10 hours just to explain the entire animation system, but that's going to require a lot of work, and I really don't want to dedicate 9 to 10 hours on this. There are a lot of great training videos on Udemy that cover the animation system a lot more in depth. So I would recommend making an investment into a good Unity course if you're really serious about using Unity. Um, but anyways, this is just to kind of get you guys introduced to the animation system, so you guys are aware of it. And yeah, so anyways, guys, I hope you guys found the video useful. If you guys did, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment down below, or feel free to join my Discord channel. You can join my channel through my website at spacelabgames.com. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are all doing well, and take care.